put all the titles and mm, I don't know what's happening. Okay. Y'all, we figured out this technology. Last week, man, I was so disappointed because I talked about the way to manage your life just based off the scriptures that I read in Romans 12. I hope y'all been reading Romans 12. It was so grounding for me. And I was looking, I'm like, man, why is my video so it was so blurry? And I'm like, ooh, the enemy trying to hate on Shorty, but it's okay. So now I am trying a new platform, and I've used these before, but normally I'm not handling the tech. But we're gonna jump into today. I hope that you are having a beautiful, beautiful day. And I've been really inspired about just everything that's happening in the world right now. Just as I'm choosing to be more courageous in my journey and just all the things. And so, I genuinely believe this. That's why I was so I was so inspired by Romans 12. Because it like, ever since I was a little girl, I always used to wonder like how do I life? Like how do I actually do life right? Like how do I um like what is all this for? Like what like how are we I mean I can go deep because I be asking myself questions. I be going all the way there. But I used to, as a kid, I used to wonder like, what is life about? And how come we're the only like human? I mean, we know it's aliens out there. We know that. We know it's aliens, but how come we haven't found like another like human race or a race of creatures who can communicate with us in this entire universe? Like these are questions I used to work. So I'm like, what's the purpose of this? Like, what does this mean? Like, this has to mean something. There's no way that, we just come here and we just die. Like ever since I was a kid, I've been obsessing about that. And I do have some answers, along the way. But with all that, what I'm coming to the conclusion with, I genuinely do believe that like part of us being here, I mean, I don't know all the answers, but what I tell myself, and because I need an answer, like I'm one of them people, I'm just not gonna be like, oh no, I need to know why, right? And so what I'm telling myself, you know and what I'm telling like the baby version of myself is, I really think, I don't know like the big picture, but I really think that we are all here to be in community, to be in contribution with each other. I think, you know, man, there's so many stats, and I didn't even look up the exact stats, but y'all know, like, even since COVID hit us, right? And we were shut down, like, right now, even though, like, we have all these social media, shout out to the people who created social media and were creative and bold and persistent into creating these platforms for us to stay connected. But there's so many studies of people just being lonely. Like people are, even though we're the most connected ever in history, like we can literally text somebody, call somebody, FaceTime somebody right from the palm of our hands, people still feel lonely. People still are craving a sense of genuine connection and belonging. And that's mind blowing. You would think like with all these devices and like right now y'all literally watching me from my house like y'all in my house right now, you would think that people felt like more in community and felt more connected, but the data is showing that people are, I think, and I may be mistaken, but if I'm not mistaken, I really heard this. I just don't know the exact stat, and I don't remember who exactly said it, but I heard someone say that I think like even like mental health is at an all-time high, like issues, and also like suicide rates. And that's crazy when we have all these different ways that we can actually be in connected and be in community. And so I'm just sharing some things that are coming up for me, but I really hope that whenever I'm doing these lives, is really to support you. I really want to just empower people, right? And I think that we all, like going back to my Romans, I really believe when it says that we all have gifts, we all have strengths, we all have a purpose, we all have a calling. Um, and I think when we begin to speak up and we begin to express that and we begin to live our authentic selves without being embarrassed or afraid whatever that is, that self-sabotage or that healing from that trauma, when we release all that and we just live out our authenticity and our true purpose, not only is it freeing and liberating and fulfilling for us on a personal level, it is also going to impact the energetic level of this planet. Like, it is going to bring us closer in community. It is going to help us, help the human species, help us, honey. We need help, right? And so I really hope that, my little piece that I'm playing here, I really hope that it shifts some of that. And I really hope to empower you to be more courageous. Like, my word for 2026 is to be courageous, just being faithful and obedient, because I do believe I'm a spiritually grounded person. I'm not tied to any religion. I am, on my journey, right? And being okay with being in the I don't know, or I'm figuring it out. And this is who I am right now. Like, maybe next week I'll decide, but right now I do know that there's a bigger purpose. Like, in my brain, all this ain't for nothing. All this isn't for nothing. And when we look at, even when we look at just our journey, like, I mean, everything, the dots begin to connect. So again, I mean, just be more courageous, be more faithful, trust yourself. That's what my message is. My message is really about you going in, listening to yourself. Oh, that's another thing. Like, and I do this. I do think it's important for us to have community, and it's important for us to have mentors and teachers. Like, that's how we compress time and, learn, gods and like, learn the path, right, without having to do the trial and failure. Like, we're not supposed to figure it out on our own. We're not supposed to make all the mistakes, because a lot of people have made mistakes that we can learn from. And with that being said, even in all that, we get to be strong enough in our self-worth. We get to be strong enough in our spirituality, to where we can filter out and decipher, who am I supposed to be listening to and what am I supposed to be doing. So I know, oh man, I heard Forest City Church, I heard the pastor say that, oh, what did he say? What did he say? Be careful what we consume. And we've heard this different ways, right? There's the reason why we may be having, and this is not even part of none of my notes, but I'm gonna just go ahead and say it, and then we're gonna transition in. But the reason why we may be dealing with spiritual warfare right now is because of all the things that we're consuming. Because at the end of the day, there is a next level version. And, I was just telling my family, like, hey, I'm raising my standard. Like, I don't care. I don't care if I'm making mistakes on the way, but I am raising my standard, because not only is it an honor to me and the source, it's also an honor for, man, I just think about, like, all of my ancestors, like, everything that they had to get through in order for me to be sitting right here and living in freedom, and, being able to use my voice and being able to just live my life. Like, I literally did a world tour last year. I traveled all around Asia. Well, I ain't gonna say all around Asia, but I went to 2 different countries in Asia, and I lived in Asia last year. Like, what? Like, I don't know no family. I don't know nobody. I don't know anyone who literally just picked up and said, hey, I'm going to go travel for 6 months and actually live in these countries, be with the people, like, create community. I still have so many great relationships from these people that I met. And I mean, I went to Europe last year. I went to Jamaica. I lived in Jamaica for a month. So I mean, I'm just like, how could I not, get out of my own way and pass this forward, and just keep going. But yeah, so the things that we consume, like, it may be causing spiritual warfare. Okay. And what I mean by that is, we consume things in different ways: what we hear, what we see, and obviously what we eat. And every time we let all that stuff in, the pastor said that the reason why you may be going through spiritual warfare, or you may be battling something on an energetic or a spiritual level, and you're like, why am I self-sabotaging? Like, why is this happening? You can't, like, move yourself or get out of your own way. It's because the spirit is not comfortable inside of you. The spirit is not comfortable because you have so much other stuff that needs to be cleaned out, right? You have so much other stuff that is not in alignment to who you are or where you're going. Okay. I'm gonna just leave that there. If that landed, hey, say something in the chat. But I'm like, man, we get to be congruent. We get to be in alignment. It's called divine alignment, I think. Okay, I'm learning a lot of new words. But we get to be in alignment. We get to be consistent and congruent in our lives in every aspect in our life. And if we are not choosing to fully be if we're being what they call it double-minded, or being a hypocrite, if we're like playing on both sides, our life is going to continue to be chaotic. That's what I found to be true. I found to be when I haven't been all in, right? When I was playing mediocre, when I didn't make a decision, when I was it's like, girl, pick a side. And when you pick a side, even if it's the wrong decision, I feel like you break through and you get through whatever you got to go through a lot faster, instead of just being in confusion and stuck and frustration and all the other stuff that we dealing with. So I say all that to say, what came up for me this week is we get to be in the season of how to think better. Right. We really, what I found, like last year, I'm so grateful. Like I didn't really work. Like I worked the first part of last year, but after April, May, like I got a lot of content obviously from my adventure, but I was traveling and I was living my life, honey. I was traveling, I was living, like I didn't work. I wasn't taking calls. Like I literally lived my life. And I don't know if okay, this wasn't part of my what I'm supposed to be saying, but what I realized looking back, right? So going into it, like I have a lot of energy. Thank you. I have so much energy. I'm so grateful that I have energy. But I have a lot of energy and I like to go fast. I like to get things done. That's just me. Like, and I'm so grateful. I'm very passionate, right? And I've been like that my entire life. My mom actually reminded me, she was like, I've been like, I've been doing like ever since I was in middle school. Like I've always done sports. I've been working since I was 14. And so, I didn't know how to relax. I didn't know how to rest. So even when I took my sabbatical last year, it was the first time. And even like the first like couple weeks over there, I'm like, I don't, what, I didn't even know what I was doing. But when you in like over there, the culture is a little different. So like I got all this like, oh, I need to get this, I need to do this, but everybody else literally they enjoying their lives, they enjoying their days. It ain't they hustlers for sure, because they don't have like all these government systems that we have over here, so they definitely getting that money. But I saw so much harmony in the way that the community and the people operate. It's not like stressed. Like these people not stressed. They literally just living their life. They when it's time to work, they getting that money. But other than that, when they done working, they are spending times with their family. They enjoying a cup of coffee. They literally going to the coffee shops and enjoying. They doing karaoke on the street. Like these people live their life. So I'm saying all that to say, the message I want to leave with you is, and that I got is, and we know this too. This is a saying, but sometimes we don't really pay attention, or we don't really get intimate, or really know what these sayings. People say stuff and it's like, okay, yeah, that's a cute phrase. Yeah, I can say it, but am I really living it? I don't embody it. I don't really have an understanding of it. And so whenever they say we need to slow down to speed up, y'all, I'm telling you, you might not need 6 months like me, okay? And honestly, it was longer than 6 months because I really just started back working like 2 weeks ago. I didn't really start working. I showed up to my computer on January 5th. So I'm trying to think. I don't even know when I actually left. I think I left. Did I leave in May? I think I left like in the beginning of May 2025. And it wasn't until January 5th of 2026 when I was like, okay, girl, open up this laptop. We gotta do something. We gotta do something. And so when they say slow down to speed up, I'm living it, and I feel so calm, so grounded, and it's real. So I really want to harp on thinking time because I really want to talk about, and I got to update all these. I didn't, hey, we just doing life. We living life. We just doing the thing, right? I forgot to put the door descriptions and the titles, honey. I'm looking for, if you are good at tech, I am actually looking for a virtual assistant. I need a virtual assistant who's really good with tech and who also is really good with email deliverability. Like, you know how to listen. I will hire you because that's what I need. So definitely put VA or something in show. Or if you know somebody, I am definitely open to a referral because Shorty needs some support over here. And I am looking to grow the team. So yeah, yeah, go ahead and drop VA if you know somebody. Okay, so we're talking about thinking time, and I think that this is also important because everybody be like, oh yeah, think, or so many people get bashed for overthinking, right? But I think that there is a process to turning our thinking time into results, right? And I think this will help us to stop restarting our life. Excuse me. I really think that and this is something that's very real for me. So I've done like all kind of challenges with myself. At first, and I'll be transparent, it was because for other people. Like I saw that other people had challenges with their health, but I was up until I broke a couple of bones in my body. That's when I started to pick up weight in my mid 20s. But prior to that, I had always been very slim, like, very healthy. So I was like, okay, but when I saw people around me struggling, with their health, or they was insecure, I'm like, come on, come on, let me just hold you accountable. Let's just go ahead and lose this weight real quick. And so I was always just like motivated to help other people to be healthy. And so I've done fast, I've like done like liquid diets, I've done all these things to be an accountability for other people. And now I'm in this season of my life where I'm like, girl, I see, I thought I was getting thick, and I've been wanting to be thick for a long time. Be careful what we speak of ourselves. And now I'm a little thick. I don't mind it. Well, let me not see. Look, I'm playing on the fence. Let me stop playing on the fence. I actually do mind it because I do want to look a certain way, and I do want to feel. And I'm also thinking about the longevity of my health for my family and everything. So let me not play in the middle. Actually, I do mind it. I mean, it's not like I look at myself and I'm like, okay, girl, look at you, look, okay. And I know this is not the best version of myself. So let me correct that. But I'm bringing that up. So now I'm hearing it over and over, fasting, and not only from a gut health or a physical health perspective, but also I'm hearing fasting in order to actually level up in my spirituality, because that's one of my goals this year, is to master myself. And in order for me to master myself, I get to be spiritually aligned. I get to be spiritually uh connected. I get to be like 100%. I'm not playing 95% of my spirituality. I want to play 100%. And so fasting is coming up. And so I'm like, oh man, like I don't want to I know that I can do it. Like I've done 30 days fasting. I've done it, but I knew, okay, I can make it to that date. But now, as I'm growing, as I'm growing within myself, as I'm growing, spiritually, I'm like, this gets to be my lifestyle. This gets to be my lifestyle. This gets to be like who I am. I am a person who fasts. I am a person who and again, it's for spiritual reasons, it is for health reasons, and I get to shift into that identity of being somebody who lives that lifestyle. Now, as you can see, I'm talking myself through, I'm processing, I'm like, oh girl, that's a decision we get to commit to. Because I will say, like, one thing about me, like when I make my decision, I'm all in. Like you can't knock me off. Like I'm very loyal to my commitments and to my purpose and my reason. And so I just get to commit. But I'm bringing that up is we all get to live a lifestyle that we want, that doesn't feel like I'm only doing this for a season. And that's something else the pastor said. He was like, we need to get out of the season mentality. And what was the I think he said sustainability. like knowing that things can be sustained. And so yeah, so I really hope that this live supports you to stop restarting and just get into your life and own your identity of this better version. Like for instance, I will say another thing that who honey, I will say it's a lot easier since I am really, really, really passionate about my devotion time in the morning. So me getting up at like 5, even if I'm going to bed at midnight or 2 a.m., honey, because I'm like, girl, we just gotta get through the season. Right? But I have been getting up with energy and like, hey, let's go because this is important. But really turning our life into a lifestyle and not as something that's temporary. Okay. So I hope to teach you simple structure to increase your success rate in whatever it is. I want to support you going from 10% to 95%. I know that's a huge promise, but I really think that this can be applied to you. It can be applied to your family, your relationship with your family. It can be provided to you in your work, whether you have clients or at your job, in your health, right? And so we get to come into the idea to, and I heard one of my old coaches used to say this: be a finisher, to fully finish and bring things to a conclusion, no matter if it's a task, no matter if it's a project, no matter if it's a commitment. We get to go all the way with things in and around our lives. So in productivity terms, I don't know if you've heard closing the loop. So we really get to be people who do not leave things half done and get rid of the lingering things on our to-do list. One of my coach, and now again, my coach said, your to-do list is your stress list. So if you have all these things that you have to do and they're just lingering around, it's just creating more stress in your life. So we get to literally dedicate time, energy, and effort to close these things so we can have more space and more capacity for the things that we actually want and the things that are actually going to move us to have a more fulfilled life, right? So going back to thinking, let's go back to thinking. Okay, when we think, and again, I don't think that this has really been broken down. I nobody ever like really taught me how to think. Naturally, I am an overanalyzer. Naturally, I am a person who like thinks things through, and a very a dominant part of my personality is I like to move. I like to get things done. I'm also a problem solver. So, but I enjoy planning. I enjoy reflecting. I enjoy processing ideas and figuring out, okay, what's the most important priority? Like, what's the decision I need to make? Like, even like I have a lot of awareness, like like I know this is coming up, and we get to listen to the whispers. A lot of times we're like, oh, I don't know, and we pretend not to know, and we play in confusion. But all we're doing is delaying our next level. So we need to spend time to actually think through the details, right? And again, going back to that slowing down to speed up. So this is dedicated mental space, right? When we talk about thinking, it's dedicated mental space in our day. Literally, we're sitting down to literally just think, to clarify what matters most, to generate solutions in our lives, to strategize next steps. And this thinking time, it's not about like, oh, I'm thinking and I'm doing right away, but it's like I'm taking this moment to allow myself to be creative, to hear some downloads, like what's really real and what's for me, like what do I need to be doing, and who do I need to be, and like how can how can I get inspired, and giving me different ideas that I don't have whenever I'm just bulldozing through my day, or I'm just hoarding all this information or all these emotions. Like when we sit down, I guess it could be like meditating, but I think meditating is being a little bit more passive, in my opinion. When I'm saying intentional thinking sessions, it's literally I'm forcing myself. And I would say journaling is a good example, where you're writing, and again, you can use Chat GPT to ask you a series of questions and you answer them, and you will find that the more you are like answering and you're pulling these things out the crevices of your soul, you be like, damn, like I already had the answer, or look at all the stuff that came up that I didn't even know until I began to process. So I have a question for you. And you can answer in the chat or you can answer to yourself. Have you noticed how often you restart in your life? Have you noticed how often you restart and you rarely finish things in your life? Have you noticed that for yourself? I every week I send um it's not really a newsletter yet. Like eventually I do want to start doing more newsletters to my email community. But I did send them an email this week and I was talking about this quote. I heard this quote and it said, miracles happen where we manage. Miracles happen where we manage. And a lot of times, I ain't trying to go too far off my script, okay? But a lot of times we are trying to, ask for things and wish for things and hope for things, but we are not managing. We're not being diligent. We are not being involved in the process. We get to be a part of our lives. We don't just get to throw it out there and be like, oh, it's gonna come back to me. Yes, I mean, that is a very important part, and we get to be in the process, right? We get to help it move along. So if things are not like happening for you, I do want to remind you that you are not lazy. You are not lazy. We're gonna take a moment and reframe that. Number one, stop saying you are lazy. Like whatever you say I am, we know this, we know this stuff, but sometimes we get too comfortable. That's why I said we got to raise our standards. We get too comfortable, too lackadaisical, right? Do not, if you want to be a lazy person, own that, have that, keep it away from me. I don't want that. But if you I don't think that is laziness, and it's definitely not lack of ambition. I feel like we all, it's just that your energy, your focus, your time, your attention, your money, you're putting all that in the wrong place. So you think that you don't lack ambition or you don't lack purpose. You're thinking that you're confused because you doing the wrong stuff. Like your priorities are off, right? The things that we pay attention to, the things that we manage, is the things that we put our time, our money, and our energy on. So it's not that you're ambitious, it's this that your mind and your heart are disconnected. It's unmanaged focus. That's what it is. It's unmanaged focus. So we're not gonna get the miracles at the speed and the rate and granted, there's always, the X factor. There's always, a higher source who can overpower what I'm saying right now. But what I found is when I literally put my money, my attention, my time, my effort all on the thing, it came to me. And it came with ease and grace and love. And you know what I'm saying? So yeah, so if you are labeling yourself as attributes or characteristics that don't align with you, or that your next level version of yourself don't agree with, or it can't exist with that version of yourself, don't label yourself as that. Don't call yourself that. Don't own that identity. Release it. So if you are suffering from this, I will say it's because you're not executing. You're not executing on the right things. And I think, again, we're filled up. We're filled up with so many things that were projecting on us. We're filled up with so many emotions that we never released. We're filled up with so many thoughts and stuff that we never birthed and we never actually took action on. We're just filled up. We are, it's funny. We get to be careful. Like we got to be specific. I'm really cautious about asking for abundance and asking for overflow. I know that those are good terms to use, but I like to put something behind it. I like to be specific of what I want to overflow of, because you can have an abundance of debt. You can have an overflow of relationship problems, right? Because those words are, and honey, I don't remember like the I don't know, is it an adjective? I don't know in English terms what it is, but it's a descriptive, right? I mean, obviously we have a knowing about like, oh, I want an abundance. I want an abundance. I want overflow. I don't know about y'all, but listen, I'm managing what I want. I want an abundance of health. I want an overflow of wealth. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't leave it to be open, because when I realized I attract what I want, and I there were things where I'm like, dang it, I got exactly what I want, and it's a little off because I wasn't specific about that detail. So we get to be specific, right? And we get to go from emotions. We got to go from these emotions, like we are pretending like we don't know what we doing. We pretending like we are confused. Stop pretending. You're just being emotional, and we are human beings. Human beings have emotions, right? And so it's okay to feel what you're feeling, but we got to get to execution, getting things. So we can't be takers. We can't be takers. We can't be just filling it, filling up, filling up, filling up, filling up, filling up. We can't just be keep filling up and not. We're going against natural law. So even so, one thing that, like I say, as a spiritual being, even if you're not into the word, like, listen, we get to look at natural law, look at life, look at nature. It tells us there's a cycle. There's sowing and reaping. It ain't just reaping, and you should know that. Like, how many things that we don't have yet, because we got to sow for it first. It's sowing and reaping, not reaping and sowing. We're not paying attention. Like, there's so many things in our life that gives us the answers, but we're so controlling and so scared and so, want to be right about things that are just egotistical and not going to get us to where we're trying to go and to who we're trying to be. So we got to go from emotions to execution, doing something, and take whatever, just doing something. Give something, be generous, get it out of you, because you're filled up. You're filled up. You're filled up. You're filled out. You're filled. So you get to give. You get to use your gift, whatever your gift or your strength is. That's what you get to do. Outpour. Okay. Give somebody. I know for me, and I'm being real with y'all, intimacy, me being in genuine connected relationships, and being afraid of, y'all got me telling y'all all my business. But hey, whatever, it gets to support somebody. But abandonment, like, at some points in my childhood, I associated different things with abandonment, but now I am learning that, people come and go, and it's okay, but do I cherish that time or that moment or that lesson that I got from the person? And it's one thing to say it, but to actually live it, like to actually be willing to let go of everything that you thought. Okay. From emotions to execution to excellence. In order for us to be our best selves, in order for us to have those things that we desire. But honestly, I feel like it's bigger than us. I feel like, again, we were born into this world with a spirit and a soul that is so it is so miraculous. It is so whole. Our spirit and soul, they're whole. And that stuff that's inside of us, it's for us. And the reason why we are suffering right now in our lives is because we are not being soulful. We are not being in harmony with the spirit. And so, if we really want to get to that level of self mastery, if we want to get to that level of excellence, our next level, we get to get in alignment to natural law. We get to listen and be obedient and faithful to what source is telling us to do. We get to just show up and to allow, whatever downloads or whatever comes out to comes out. And this is so funny. I mean, because a lot of the stuff that I'm saying to you, it is not on my notes. I'm like, I wasn't even gonna say that. I wasn't even gonna go there. I'm getting a whisper because I almost went somewhere with y'all, but I'm like, I chose not to go there. Am I probably gonna have to get this lesson again? Yes. And that's a beautiful thing when we are, it's almost like a dance, right? It's almost like a dance. And I kind of want to say this because when I'm saying so I definitely believe, God, Lord, Jehovah, the spirit, the universe, whatever you call it, like a part of that energy is inside of us. Like we are a part of the spirit, God, like it's inside of us. And I feel like our soul, and again, I'm just learning this stuff. And I could be wrong. And like this is part of my studentship, okay? Our soul, it comes from like an agreement like of who we are. Like it's our consciousness. So that's why we have a soul and a spirit. Our soul connects us to the source. I'm sorry, our spirit connects us to the source, but then our soul is like who we are. And that's what I'm saying. Like we get to be in partnership with spirit. Like I feel like our soul is like the DNA from our ancestors. And it's like what makes us up. Like the spirit giving us our calling and our purpose. And so and the spirit is going to guide us through this journey. But if we're not listening to the spirit, like that's when things get chaotic and haywire. Okay. That was not on my list. But just being faithful and obedient and just putting it out there, right? So I mean, and it may not be the answer, it may not be right. And no matter how controversial or how wrong I am, it's like, well, I feel like I'm doing my job because it's funny how we were, as kids growing up, we were taught like how to be appropriate and how to be palatable to society. And honey, I don't know why they made that rule, because honey, that's just something. Me conforming is literally death to my soul. Like me just doing what everybody else is doing, or me staying inside the fucking lines, is not in my journey. And it's what is it? Is it a soul contract? I don't know. I'm learning all these terms, but you know what I'm saying? So it's like we get to just, of course, look at the things that don't change. Natural law, the word hasn't changed. I'm seeing and I'm learning. Like there are things that gives us guidance, and we get to be conscious and aware to know and discern like this is for me and this is not for me. So the real problem, especially with my high performers, my driven divas, especially for people who are really ambitious, the real problem that I see, the real problem that I think it is that we consume too much information instead of just executing and being in action. We stay busy. We stay busy and we feel behind. And this was me over a year ago. Like I'm just doing all these things, and it was part of it. I think this is in my notes a little bit later, but just we busy because we are afraid of the emo. It's so funny. It's kind of like it's the self-sabotage. Like we are afraid of the emotions and the pain and the hurt, but we don't fix it to or heal it, because not everything can be fixed, but it can be healed. And we choose suffering instead of just seceding from the thing. So when we're in that busy energy, it's a lot of times it's because we are avoiding, we're resisting, we are lacking intimacy with ourselves and our purpose, our mission, our strength, our gift. So we get to start. So instead of keep like restarting our goals, we need to close some of these loops that are open. Okay. So I want the key idea from what I just said. If you like, girl, what is this girl talking about? Because I don't even know what I sound like right now, because a lot of things that I'm saying, it is not on my notes. But progress does not come from ideas. You do not need more information. You get to trust the source is guiding you and leading you to where you get to go next. You get to trust that. And you get to choose. You want to do it, choose your, what they say, choose your heart. You can choose it the way you've been doing it, or you can choose a way that may be better, but it's blind faith. Damn it. I'm gonna look up some of these words as well, because Again, we be just saying stuff, but we not really connected with the richness of what they mean. And sometimes we be using things incorrectly, okay? But progress doesn't come from more ideas. Progress, to move forward movement, it comes from structured thinking, aka yes, we're talking about discipline, aka yes, we're talking about accountability, aka yes, we are talking about structure. I know a lot of us resist structure because the structure that has been what is it uh, put upon us at some point in our life that we don't like. But progress comes from structured thinking and deliberate actions. Deliberate, like tenacious, relentless, unstoppable action. Okay, so we get to move forward and we get to finish what we start. So we actually get to complete some things in our life. I feel like our confidence, our self-worth will skyrocket if we actually do what we said we was gonna do, if we actually stop being hypocrites and actually be about it. A lot of people ain't about it. That's why I be like, why is you talking about other people's business when you're not even about it? Be about it, but be about it for yourself and for your spirit and your soul. The reason why you lack confidence is because you're not who you think you are. I mean, you are, okay? But currently in this moment, you are not being real. You're not being real. You being a hypocrite in some area of your life. And that's why I'm all about total freedom. Like, that's literally my company's name, Total Freedom, because when one pillar of our life structure is off, when one pillar is off, we feel insecure because we know. Don't nobody else know. Yes, spirit knows. Yes, spirit knows, but don't nobody else probably really know. Even if you have a partner, even if you're married and you got kids and you close with your family, you are lacking confidence. You are lacking self-worth. You are lacking um your radiance, your essence, your aura, because you are not integral with yourself. So we get to finish what we start. We get to be about it. We get to be that person. We get to be that leader for ourselves and our families, but mainly for ourselves first and for the spirit. You know what I'm saying? Because think about how far you've come. Think about how far you've come, all the things that you have created or you have been a blessing for, like, because you did or you said or you showed up, your presence, it blessed somebody else. So it's like we get to live in that level of excellence. But when we choose to play small and give into our emotions or our fears or our scarcity, um we are just being a part of the problem, and we are keeping the energetic vibration of this planet too low. So we get to shift. We get to shift. We get to shift. We get to shift. We get to shift into being finishers so that we can just move on, honey. We need better problems. We need new better problems at different levels. We don't need these like low petty problems. I'm tired of I don't want no broke problems. I don't want no petty toxic relationship. I want new problems. Give me new better problems that require a bigger version of me. Like, I want to get strong enough that these problems, they're handled, they're done. Like, let's go. So we get to stop running from ourselves. We get to stop running from ourselves. Like, everything that we are avoiding and resisting, like, it's keeping us where we are. We like that's going through that, being willing to risk. We can't see, oh, being heartbroken or being hurt or being wrong, being embarrassed, being judged. People gonna talk about you anyways. When I tried to conform and be palatable, number one, I almost killed myself, and not like physically, but I'm just saying, like, on an energetic and an emotional and even on a spiritual level. I actually think that that's a whole different story. But, like, I literally had to recreate myself, because when I tried to fit in with these people, when I tried to conform and when I tried to be liked and when I tried to be accepted, I'm like, first of all, I don't even like who I'm becoming trying to be around these people. And I'm just around them because of proximity, and they easy to access. But I knew it wasn't my people. But I'm like, because we all here, like we all in this environment. So I mean, I guess, and we got some things, but no, I've raised my standards since my teens, let's say that, or even since my early 20s, yeah, definitely. Um, y'all, we got to stop running from ourselves, and we got to get intimate and vulnerable with ourselves. Like, I believe this life, I believe it's about mastering ourselves. And when we master ourselves, we get out of our own way, because it's not just for ourselves, it's going to be a ripple effect for giving honor to the source, to our ancestors, to our family, to our legacy, right? So when we are scared, we tend to resist and avoid. And we are smart enough, we are mature enough, we can choose to actually focus on making things work, so we can get to that fantasy. It's funny. I remember, like, when I have not worked for well, I work for my company, obviously, but I haven't worked a job, like I haven't had a W-2 since I was 25 years old. And I remember I was telling this girl, like, yeah, I was like, yeah, I don't want to work. Like, I don't want to, um, I just don't want to, I don't want to work. Like, I don't want to do that no more, as I was like transitioning out of my job at the time. And this girl gonna tell me, you living in a fantasy land. And it's funny, you know, I feel like when we surrender, and we give our all, and when we live courageously and faithfully and obediently, my life is a fantasy. Like, I'm not even trying to flex right now. When I look at, when I got out of my job at 25, the things that I've done in the past, I don't even know how to do math. What is that, 7 years? I haven't even, but the things I've done and created, it's a fantasy to most people. And I'm not like trying to compare, but what I'm saying is, do not let people project shit on you. Correct them. See, at the time, I just took it like, okay, girl, like, she didn't even have a passport at the time. And I'm not being disrespectful. I'm really not being disrespectful, but I'm being real. You have to discern, like, this girl, oh, is that an enemy? She may not be the enemy, but, on our journey we get tested. We get tested on this journey to see, are you really about this? The spirit is funny. Like, it's not just like, oh, grace and love. Like, I read some of these stories, and it's like, dang, it's like, it be good, y'all. But on a human level, people act like, oh, you have to be so proper and holy and prim. No. Like, when you read these scriptures, and when you actually when you have a real connection, of course it's based on, who you are. But my relationship, I'd be like, okay, you a little petty, honey. And so I'm not trying to flex, and I'm not trying to shame, and I'm not trying to, like, but what I'm saying is, that was a spirit, that was an enemy, enemy projection on me. It was coming from an enemy, you know what I'm saying? But in my spirit, I was like, girl, I can't listen to you. Like, what are you talking about? Like, you've never even left this state at the time. Like, you have never been on a plane. Like, I've been doing this since I was like, what, 16, 17. Like, I can't listen to you. So you have to be that, of course, there's this whole thing about being humble, but I think people take the definition wrong about being humble and modest. You still get to be assertive and courageous in who you are, and bold. You still got to be bold in who you are. Let me move on. So here's a two-step. Here are two steps, right? It's a three-step process, but we're gonna focus on the two that we talking about here today. Okay, here are two steps to support you to move forward. Okay, actually, I am going to do a thorough training about this over the next few weeks, and if you want execution support, you need to text me. Go ahead and text me 757-780-8585. 757-780-8585. Go ahead and text me if you want support in getting shit done, moving forward with your life, closing loops, moving from your emotions to execution so you can get to your level of excellence. Go ahead and text me because I will be doing like a very intimate with helping people get out of their own way and manage some of these emotions so they can move forward. But real quick, because I actually got a call and okay, let's move forward. So when I say thinking time, like this is our clarity time. This is how you get clear. You don't get clear by looking and seeing what everybody else doing. Yes, you can get inspiration when you need inspiration, but I guarantee you there's enough inside of you that you can get inspiration from. So it's not about looking out, it's about going in. So thinking time is about clarity. So here's a easy template for you to use. 30 minutes. Start with 30 minutes. 30 minutes of intentional thinking. You take this 30 minutes to plan, to process, and to strategize. So basically, this is intentional time, excuse me, just to think just to think and clarify what matters most to you right now, and just choose. And if it's the wrong thing, okay, you got tomorrow to choose a different one, but just think and move. Okay, when I say think, the definition of think is an intentional pause to reflect, to clarify, and to decide what matters before taking action. When I say planning, to plan, a lot of people avoid planning because it makes you think, but you can't, if you can't go nowhere, if you say, hey, if you want to go somewhere, you say GPS, just take me somewhere. You got to be clear with your destination and you got to plan, you got to be prepared. Okay. So just decide what you'll do and when. Give yourself direction. Tell yourself, teach, lead yourself instead of like, oh, I need to know exactly how to. Y'all, so many people have made $1 million and everybody's story different. Your story is not going to be exactly like somebody else because y'all are not the same. Everybody has a different fingerprint. Just take what you know, get clear steps, and go in the direction. You will be redirected, and we know this because of all the rejection and abandonment and everything else. It was not abuse to us. It was literally just like, girl, get back over here. Oh, yeah, they made you feel bad because you ain't supposed to be with them. Oh, like it's just redirection. It's not real rejection. Processing, that means to make sense of information. When we sit and we process, we're making sense of the information, we're making sense of the emotions, we're making sense of the ideas, so nothing stays mentally cluttered. Dang, that's a good. So we need time to process, right? We need time to prioritize. So prioritizing is choosing one thing. I know people say three, but most of us don't get to start with three because we gotta get through this. Let's just go. Okay. So choose the one thing that matters most right now and let the rest wait. Y'all, it's okay to start slow. It's okay to start from the bottom. Choose the one thing and then just say, okay, next month, this is the next thing. The purpose of thinking time is to decide what actually matters. You get to reduce the mental noise and you get to prevent reactive decision making. Okay, this is my favorite part. I mean, I love to think too, but I really love this part. Then we get to do. Again, this is a framework. I'm giving y'all my framework, y'all. I'm giving y'all my framework, okay? But most of y'all wouldn't have a problem with this part, but we're not gonna go there. This is the do part. This is how you execute, okay? When we talk about execute or execution, this is staying focused, deliberate action to complete the priority, the one thing that you decided on. And we turn decisions like, okay, boom, I decided this. It's not just a goal on the wall, or in our head, in the ethers. We are, when we execute, when we have doing time, action time, execution time, it is turning decision into finished results. We are closing loops. We're not working. We're not just, oh, I'm just working on this project. I ain't throwing shade. Oh, I'm just finishing this book. No, I finished this chapter. So I would suggest about 60 to 90 minutes of priority focus time. If you can have more, that's great. But 60 to 90 minutes every single day, of course. You got 24 hours. You can give yourself 60 to 90 minutes to actually make effort towards going to where you get to go. Of priority focus time. One outcome, one result. So what is that one thing? Again, you're not writing the whole book. I mean, unless you are, but in that 90 minutes, can you finish a chapter? Okay. One task. Okay. The goal is to finish. Finish. We're not working. Oh, I'm working on this. I mean, honey, this was me back in the day with this email copy. Y'all, my email community, y'all better love me, honey, because I be burning the midnight oil, honey, to try to get y'all's newsletters and everything on the time, because it's. I mean, once I do my part of the thinking, I just need to hand it off. That's why I need a VA. Hand it off to them and let them set up the tech and to send it out to the people. Okay, I'm not fast. That's not my gift. Okay, so that's why we need to be in community and we need to come together, because we can help each other. If you're really good at tech and doing all that type of stuff, you can do that part, and I get to, you know what I'm saying? It's part of the bigger picture. Anyways, we get to resolve. You know how, like, when you send an email to a company and then after, you know, the customer support, then they send you an email back saying this request has been resolved. That's what we get to do in our life. We get to resolve open loops. Okay, so there's a phrase that says execution creates relief. Execution creates relief. Okay, I gotta go fast because I have a meeting here in a few minutes. Okay, I just wanted to share these stats with you really quick. So this is why this worked. Here's the credibility and the data. Like, this was an actual study that the American Society of Training and Development, they studied goal achievement. And what they found was, if you only have a goal in your head, there's about a 10% likelihood that it would actually happen. If you assign a timeline and make a plan, the likelihood rises to 50%. If you add sharing your goal with someone, whether it's a colleague, a friend, or a coach, the likelihood raises to about 65%. If you add weekly check-ins and progress reports, even if it's just a quick text with that person, then it jumps to 95%. And this is a study that I think it was done at Harvard, if I'm not mistaken. And they also said that, you know, the percentage raises even higher if the person that you do a weekly check-in, if it's somebody that you respect and admire, right? Just naturally, you don't want to let that person down. Okay, so when we talk about structure is not pressure. Well, it is, but pressure, a coach, she says pressure is a privilege. So it gets us to move. It gets us, y'all, time. I think I'm harping on time. Like, time is the only currency. It's the only asset that we can't get back. Right? I mean, technically we can when we begin to hire and delegate, et cetera. But like what we did, we can't, you know, with money, you can make $1 million, lose $1 million. But with time, it's like when that time is spent, it's done. Okay. So that's why I'm like, I'm passionate about this. Stop wasting time, y'all. We got work to do. You got a life to live. You got things to do. So accountability is not control. It is clarity and follow through. So, y'all, we get to be intimate. We get to be intimate into me. Into you. I see. Into me. I see. We get to be intimate with ourselves. Number one, we really get to look at ourselves and heal ourselves and work on ourselves and do what we got to do and be vulnerable. You know, it's just so beautiful. Like, when you look at the people who are really transparent and honest and vulnerable, you just feel so close to them. I mean, it's just this one girl. I met her in Asia, and she's so vulnerable and so honest. And it's like, damn, girl, like that feminine. I don't know. It's just so beautiful to experience when people are just honest and authentic. So this is a chance for us to learn to sit in silence, without feeling rushed and no space to fill. This is time for us to start to think before reacting. And then the results will be, you will have less stress in your life. You will have more creativity, and then also more time to do things that you actually want to do. So most of progress happens before the chaos start. I don't know. I wrote this quote, but I don't even understand most of my progress happens before the chaos start. Okay, I had a point to that, but I I lost it. So how can you start this week? Y'all know I love to give y'all some actionables, how to start this week. So number one, block out the time. Okay, and this is non-negotiable. Non-negotiable means, like, for instance, taxes. What is it, April 15th? That's a non-negotiable date. Okay, so you get to add like the man, okay, and be non-negotiable with your calendar and your schedule and your time. Block out time to actually just do the stuff. Okay, to actually just think. I mean, imagine how you are gifting yourself and blessing yourself to put you first, to be like, I'm so important that I allow myself 15 minutes to just think. Like, you're that important. You matter that much. Okay. So you can start with 15 think, 15 finish, or if you have an hour a day, 30 minutes to think, 30 minutes to finish. Okay. The purpose, you get to decide. You get to decide, like, it's your choice and you get to make it right. You get to ask, what is the one thing that is going to move everything forward? After that thinking time or during that thinking time, and you don't get to do multiple things. It don't work. You have, so, oh, I got this goal, this goal. What's your one goal, honey? That's what we doing. What is your one goal? Okay. And step 3 is to remove distractions. Put your phone on silent. Let other people know, hey, I'm unavailable. I have a meeting during that time. Close your tabs, honey. Close your tabs on your laptop or whatever. And for me, I literally close all my tabs, because it's like, if multiple tabs are open, I'm like that's just how my brain works. But if I have one tab, that's all I can do right now. Okay, we gotta have fun. We gotta laugh at ourselves. Play with ourselves. But anyways, number 4, like during that thinking time and that working time, even if you like the day ain't the day, honey, honor yourself, keep your word, and just sit there anyway. Sit there for the 15 minutes, sit there for the 30 minutes, sit there for the hour, and just sit there. Eventually, you gonna hear your body gonna nudge you and move you to the right direction. But even if you're like, I don't know what to do, I'm just feeling like a victim, and I want to choose being pathetic. Choose that, but don't choose it every day. Just choose it one time. Go through what you got to go through and journal whatever's coming up for you. But just sit there. Don't multitask. Still keep them notifications off. Do not judge how productive. Like, it may take you a couple weeks to actually get in your stride. You know what I'm saying? But sit under that timer. Set your phone for that 15 minutes, that 30 minutes, even if you're not doing anything at first and you just sitting there like, okay, I just need to teach myself how to think. Eventually you'll figure it out. You're smart enough. So this is the big picture. Okay. So imagine applying this every week across your life and business. And with somebody ensuring that you follow through. So what will change in your life? And this is based on the Harvard study, but I mean, we just know, like, natural laws work in the world. Like, this is not our planet. We didn't create it, we didn't make it up, but we live in it. So we need to figure out what these laws are and follow them, okay? And so goals stop stalling your team and your relationship and your employees. I work with a lot of entrepreneurs. They begin to execute better because you're executing better, but then you're also like giving them clear leadership and guidance and targets for them to go to, because you're not giving them vague, because like, this is the target, this is the result. Okay. And clients actually get results. Your clients get results. Again, your kids get the results. People around you get results as well. The community, the world. Okay, imagine our mission, being lifted in the world. So, execution support, execution support is better than motivation. Structure will always be willpower. Okay. So, to close this out, like I said, I mean, I am an accountability consultant. This is what I do. I love to support people to actually execute and to structure life and to be accountable. Like, this is my gift, and I'm really good at it and I love it. Okay. But what I do is I actually help people structure their life, their calendar. And I don't focus on just people's work or just people's, fitness. We talk about your whole person. Okay. And it's what I'm teaching you. I do teach you my frameworks just so you can plug things in without overthinking. But I don't teach a whole bunch of information or concepts. Of course, I tell stories and I make it relatable to help you process. But this is what I do. And I actually am launching my Founding Advantage training. So pretty much that's just like it's the first cohort that's coming up, and it's going to be ending next week. So I definitely have bonuses in there and everything, so if that is something that's interesting you, if you want support, if you want structure, if you want to have more clarity, if you want less frustration, if you want to stop procrastinating, if anything that I said in this video resonate with you and you want to talk to me about it, you can send me a text message at 757-780-8585. Again, 757-780-8585. And what I do is really for people who are really tired of restarting. They are tired of playing small. They're tired of hiding themselves. They are tired of, being victims. They are tired of, fighting themselves. Like they're tired of wrestling with the enemy and all the negativity, and they want to move forward. They want to follow through. They want to create impact. They want to live big lives. They want to live out their purpose. And yeah, and they want to just they want to feel seen and feel heard and feel supported. Like that's what I'm here for. Okay. So I have a question for you. What would change if you actually finish just one important thing every single day? What would change in your life? You can comment, you can text me, you can answer for yourself. What would change if you actually finish just one important thing every single day? And what's the one thing that you've been restarting? Like, what's the one thing that you're like, you keep saying, like, this is it, this is the time, but then you end up restarting anyways. So, I hope this inspired you. If anything that I said, please comment. Like, what did you hear me say that was like, oh, girl, oh, yeah, let's talk. Or, girl, I'm about to stay close. I'm about to be listening to you, girl. You hit on that point. Let me know because I can bring you more of that, right? And if you want access, because my email subscribers, they actually get all this information. I talk to them before I even come live. Like, they get all this ahead of time. So this is like, you get it. And they also just get a lot of cool stuff that I'm sharing with them and even just rolling out. So again, just text me if you want to be added to my email community. But I want to just say again, what I share with you in this live, it's not about hype. It's a real framework. We got to move from our emotions to execution to our excellence. Okay. And this is all about execution. So I hope this was super supportive to you. I want to hear from you, and I'm gonna see y'all next week. See you later.